Rather lads, welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We are talking Arsenal and Arsenal news. Lots of things to dive into. Ian Wright has said that if Arsenal qualifies for the UEFA Champions League, big signings are going to be coming through the door because there's so many big names that he knows about, so many big players that he knows about that are waiting for that moment when Arsenal goes back to the UEFA Champions League. We're going to be diving into that, but in the comment section, talk to me. Which big names do you fancy that Arsenal should start looking at when we go back to the UEFA Champions League? Don't tell me about Lautaro Martinez. He's on a goal drought. So talk to me about other guys, not Lautaro Martinez. We are also talking about multiple contracts that Arsenal are working on a couple of players aside Saliba, Saka, and Martinelli. A couple of other players are also set to receive new deals from Arsenal. James Madison linked with Arsenal once again, and a left-footed centre-back is on the cards and a priority for Mikel Arteta as much as we know. So I'm going to be diving into those stories. Hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 400 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well. We are very close to 60,000 subscribers. By the way, we are growing very, very fast, and I like that. We are growing so fast even without the transfer window. And then, most of you are not subscribed. We have around 54% of the people subscribed. Around 40% of you have not subscribed. You like the content. The likes are coming in. The views are coming in, but the subscriptions are still very low. So make sure you don't watch before subscribing. That is a humble request. Now let's get into the content. Let's start off with the story on a couple of multiple contracts that has been reported by Ben Jacobs of CBS. So he says that Arsenal working on a couple of deals, on a couple of deals for a few players. It's not only William Saliba, it's not only Gabriel Martinelli, it's not only Bukayo Saka. A couple of other players, including Xhaka, including the likes of Gabriel Magalhaes and a couple of others, could actually see their deals also renewed. Now you'll have to remember that we signed Gabriel Magalhaes in the summer of 2020. That is when we signed him. So that means in 2023, his contract will be left with 1 year. That is until 2024. So we've got to make sure that we extend his deal. Granit Xhaka as well, his deal needs to be extended if Arsenal really fancy chances of keeping him and having him stay around. The likes of Tierney as well. All those deals have to be extended and all those contracts have to be worked upon. So according to Ben Jacobs, the World Cup could be a period where Arsenal used to work on a few deals, especially for players who will not be joining the World Cup. Now, I'm not really sure who will not be joining the World Cup. Look, I think our squad is quality, and each and every player deserves to be part of the World Cup. They've done so well in the first part of the season. But, you know, some things are inevitable for me. Gabriel Magalhaes, however much is a good centre back, I don't see him joining with Brazil, so that gives us some time to deal with his contract situation. Gabriel Martinelli as well. I want to say he will go, but I look at Vinicius, I look at Rafinha, I look at a couple of other players in that position, and I feel this World Cup might have come a little bit too early for Gabriel Martinelli, so that will also give us some time to deal with his contract situation. Look, Tierney, I think, did they qualify Scotland? Did they qualify for the World Cup? If they did, then that can be sorted out a little bit later. So Ben Jacobs says when the league breaks up for the World Cup, when we break up for the World Cup, a couple of contracts are going to be discussed, by Arsenal. So let's hope that will get done. Now, I'm also scared that we have so many deals to work on within almost 1 year. You think about the number of players whose contracts are actually running down or running into the last year. There are so many. Saliba running into the last year. Tierney almost running into the last year of this deal. You think about the likes of Magalhaes. I think Magalhaes still has 2 years, but then you want to act on that as quickly as you can. Xhaka running into his last year, and a couple of others. And all these players are key cornerstones in our system. They really dictate how we play. They really dictate how our system works. So we have to work on that a little bit earlier. Gabriel Martinelli, I said it yesterday. He just confirmed he wants to stay with Arsenal, and I've seen Initial contracts have already been opened to extend his contract until 2028. The problem would be how much we're gonna give him vis-a-vis what Saka is gonna get. And I think, look, if you're Edu right now, you have a big problem. You have Arsenal going back to the UEFA Champions League, so you have to attract the big names now. The likes of, I don't want to say Lautaro Martinez. I'm staying away from the temptation of saying Lautaro Martinez, but he has to sign those big names, those big signings after we go back to Europe, after we go back to UEFA Champions League. But then in the same period, he still has to wash the squad, make sure that every player who doesn't deserve to be here leaves. And then at the right price, and then also as well, he has to work on this new deal so that these players don't run into the last years of their contracts, because that even makes the situation, scary. But Ben Jacob says Arsenal have this under control at the moment. There is nothing to be scared about. They will get these contracts done, and I hope we actually get them done. Ian Wright. Now, of course, we know Ian. He's for me, in the media right now, he's the most interesting Arsenal figure on TV. A couple of times, you'll find him on BT Sport. A couple of times, you'll find him on the Premier League TV, right? And most cases when Arsenal play, he's always on the Premier League TV. So Ian was speaking about the prospects of bettering the Arsenal squad and improving the squad quality overall. And he said, right now, there are a couple of players that I know waiting for Arsenal to go back to the UEFA Champions League, and they will join. Arsenal will try to get in the maximum quality of players, the quality that we have not been able to get in without UEFA Champions League. Interesting, very, very interesting, because this is kind of a leakage. Now, I think with Ian Wright, he works very closely with Arsenal. And I know Edu and Mikel Arteta might not be very, very happy with him releasing such information. But again, I don't think he's released so much. He's just said that he knows some big names that could join, that are eager and waiting to join if Arsenal go to the UEFA Champions League. And then you have to think of that. You have to think of that quality that we are actually missing. For me, one player, and in the comment section, give me one player, one quality player that you feel upgrades Arsenal so much, and you'd love us to sign him when we get back to the UEFA Champions League. For me, it's Fede Valverde at Real Madrid. I'm slowly growing fond of this man. I'm slowly growing fond of this boy at Real Madrid. And in the next episode, we'll talk about Fede Valverde just a little bit. But for me, if I look at his game, when I look at him, he's the complete modern central midfielder. For me, Fede Valverde, his ball distribution, the way he runs, goes into his game, assists again. For me, if you give me one chance to sign one player for Arsenal, one player that I know will fit into Mikel Arteta's system, works hard, is very energetic, enthusiastic about the game, loves and is passionate about football, it's Fede Valverde. It's very, very good. And I know many of you might not actually rate him for now. You will say, of course, he has actually been at Madrid not for so long, and he's not broken into the Real Madrid starting 11 for so long now. But if there was a chance that we still Fede Valverde off the eyes, under the radar of Real Madrid, I'll definitely sign him. But the big point here, lads, from Ian Wright, is Arsenal are now going to be able to get the quality that the likes of Manchester City get in Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, Ike Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, because they have UEFA Champions League. That the likes of Liverpool get in Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez. I don't know if they get a lot of quality in Darwin Núñez, honestly. But the likes of Thiago Alcantara, when you are in the UEFA Champions League, there is that maximum level, right, that you unlock in terms of quality, in terms of the transfer market. For example, I'll give you an example. Arsenal don't stand a chance right now, without going back to the Champions League, we don't stand a chance to sign Jude Bellingham. Why? Because Madrid, the kings of the UEFA Champions League, want him. Liverpool, the kings of the UEFA Champions League in the UK and in the Premier League, want him. And Manchester United as well. Of course, they don't have UEFA Champions League, but they have more money to spend than us. So if you want to stand a chance on these top talents, on these top players, Valverde, Bellingham, Actually, I would love Bellingham to go to Madrid because that leaves a small space for Arsenal to sign Fede Valverde. I'm honest. I'm serious. And a couple of other talents, you can now attract them. Right, you can stand on the same level and say, we are back in the UEFA Champions League and we are a proper side, so come and join us. Last campaign, we were interested in Aurelien Tchouameni with Liverpool, with Real Madrid. But I'm telling you this, Arsenal didn't even stand a chance. Arsenal didn't stand a chance on Aurelien Tchouameni. It was either Liverpool or Real Madrid, and the player said, I want to play for Madrid, I don't want to play for Liverpool. I'm sorry, respectively, actually PSG as well, and he said, I want to go to Spain, I'm not coming to England, I'm not staying in France as well. So if Arsenal want to get all this quality, forget the James Madisons of this world, forget the Gabriel Jesus of this world, we are talking mesmerizing quality. We are talking players that come into the team and start right away. When we signed Alexis Sanchez, that is the quality I'm talking about. When we signed Mesut Ozil, that is the quality I'm talking about, right? Look, we are looking at this squad. We're looking at this starting 11. It is good for me. It's very, very good. But how about if I added a player like Milan Skriniar in that centre-back situation, in that centre-back? If I added Milan Skriniar, if I added Bastoni, right? If I added Theo Hernandez to this team, it becomes better. So to get all that quality, for you to attract that quality, you must be able to have the UEFA Champions League badge on your sleeves. And for me, that is where Arsenal are. So Ian Wright says, calm down. We are working on going back to the UEFA Champions League. And a couple of names, I wish he had mentioned one or two. But he's a very, very clever guy. He doesn't mention them, but he says Arsenal working on these deals. And should we go back to the UEFA Champions League, they will actually join us. You remember Paulo Dybala? The agent of Paulo Dybala said Arsenal will actually get Paulo Dybala if they get the UEFA Champions League. And we were a whisker away. Trust me, again, having Paulo Dybala in this team creates another big difference. He's again another revelation for me of a talent. Very direct. He knows where the goal is. He wants to score. He's hungry and has got that skill set and ability as well. He was very close to signing for Tottenham. Was very close to signing for Manchester United. And the deals fell through. But look, UEFA Champions League means more quality, and I wish Arsenal can actually work on that. Now, talking about quality and talking about additions, Arsenal are looking for a left-sided centre-back. A couple of rumors are saying Arsenal are not really happy with what Gabriel Magalhaes is doing. He's got a mistake in him almost every 90 minutes, so Arsenal want to replace him with another player. Now, I'm going to say this is bullshit. I'm going to say that is total crap. I think Arsenal want a left-sided centre-back. That is true. We tried to sign Josko Gvardiol in the summer, but now he's going to go for almost around 80 million euros. I don't see Arsenal sign him for that much. We tried to sign the likes of Edmund Tapsoba in the summer. So that shows you there is interest from Arsenal to sign a left-sided centre-back. But for me, we want to sign him as a backup to Gabriel Magalhaes. You look at Gabriel, this campaign is the only unrotated player. I think with Xhaka, they're the only unrotated players in this Arsenal team. Probably because Ben White, there are so many options to Ben White. Xhaka, there are no options to Granit Xhaka in our team. Gabriel Magalhaes, there are no options to Gabriel Magalhaes. So we want a left-sided centre-back as an option to Gabriel Magalhaes, not as a replacement. Look, I have got a problem with Gabriel Magalhaes. He's got a problem, he's got a mistake within him every 90 minutes, but he can get better. We have seen worse centre-backs at Arsenal. I'm talking about Laura Koscielny when he had just joined, and he became better, right? Laura Koscielny had an own goal in him almost every 90 minutes, but he got better, and eventually he became one of the best centre-backs in the world. So for me, with Gabriel Magalhaes, Mikel Arteta and the defensive coach must talk to him. They must tell him to calm down. He's that pillar in our centre-back line, right? He must calm down. He's a leader for me. He's developed very well, coming into England and settling like that. He deserves more credit than he's actually getting from the Arsenal fan base and all these other crap pundits. But the problem is, can he eliminate those those mistakes? Can he eliminate those flaws in his game? For me, he can actually do that. He will actually eventually come of age, and he will actually come around. Young centre backs make mistakes, and that is how they thrive. You look at the own goal that Saliba conceded against Leicester City. It was almost a similar own goal he was about to concede against Liverpool, right? So young centre backs will make mistakes, especially when you pair them, and especially if you pair them and they're faced with pressure. They will make mistakes, but I know Gabriel will actually come around. So for me, I want a left-sided centre back. Edmund Sapsoba is an option. I would love to take him. I would definitely take him at Arsenal. Very, very good centre back, isn't he? And then the other, look, if Josko Gvardiol is around 50 million euros, I would fancy our chances. I would definitely fancy our chances. But I know there are very, very many good centre backs that Arsenal can sign. There are very many good centre backs that Arsenal can look at. Left-sided, I thought Nathan Ake would be one, but the departure of Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus meant that Manchester City were not going to sell Nathan Ake to us. But if we went back next summer, maybe they can give us Nathan Ake. I don't know, but maybe, just maybe, they can give us Nathan Ake. Again, it depends on the relationship we have with Pep Guardiola and how important they think Nathan Ake is, and how easily replaceable or irreplaceable they think he actually is. And finally, the rumors around James Madison are back. So I think Madison has been really doing very well for Leicester City, linked with a couple of other clubs as well. Newcastle, I've seen, but Arsenal is again linked with James Madison. So there is this feeling among the fan base that James Madison and Odegaard cannot play together. We have Odegaard, we don't need James Madison. I feel James Madison is quite different from Martin Odegaard. Now the difference, the similarity is that they all operate almost in the same pockets of space, but James Madison wants to operate most centrally, at least most centrally, like behind the striker. Martin Odegaard would love to be a little bit slight off, either to the left or to the right. Right, and you'll see him. He's either forming that partnership with Saka on the right, or if he's not playing there, then he's forming that partnership with Gabriel Martinelli on the left, just like we saw in the Liverpool game. So I think I can use James Madison and Martin Odegaard together. How? I would replace Odegaard. I would replace Xhaka with Odegaard, and then replace Odegaard with James Madison. But the question is, should Arsenal sign James Madison? In my opinion, I love him. I definitely love him. And I think it's a deal that would make a lot of sense, especially now that he would go for around 45 million euros. The deal would make a lot of sense. He adds goals, a free kick specialist as well. Has so many attributes to his game that are lacking in this Arsenal side. Because at Arsenal right now, if it is the 90th minute and we have a very juicy free kick in a juicy spot, I don't think I would pick one player to take it. Not Saka, definitely. Not Gabriel Martinelli. Not Odegaard, yeah, but you don't fancy that he's going to score that. With James Madison, he comes with that assurance on set pieces. It's more like a James Ward-Prowse. So, look, we've got Fabio Vieira now, so I don't see him signing for Arsenal. We don't use an out number 10. That is another reason as to why I don't see him sign for Arsenal anytime soon. But I would love him. I would definitely love to see James Madison at Arsenal. So that is the update this morning. I'll be back talking about Fabrizio Romano and the Gabriel Martinelli update. Nicolo Zaniolo as well. We'll be talking about Nicolo Zaniolo because, again, another player that Spurs want, but another player that I'll really be happy if Arsenal sign, Nicolo Zaniolo. So see you soon.